Welcome everybody to Meatballs and Meaning. Nice to have everybody. So, to frame the class, we're all learning together here. All questions are encouraged. I'm not giving the speech from a pulpit. We're here together. We're all trying to inspire each other and trying to open up to what the Tzaddikim have to tell us. This week it's sponsored by Anonymous in gratitude to Hashem, and Refuah Shelema for Ruth Rina Bat Geraz and Yehuda Rafael Ben Naomi. So, we're going to start off inside Likutei Moharan, part 2, lesson 5. Rabbi Nachman here talks about emunah. He says, Tik'u emunah. Ha'ikar hu ha'emunah, v'sarich kol echad lechapet es atzmo im emunato. Welcome. שלמה וחזק את עצמו באמונה תמיד. כי על ידי פגם אמונה באים מכות מופלאות שאין מועיל להם לא רפואות ולא תפילה ולא זכות אבות. Rabbi Nachman says here, faith is the most important thing of all. That's a very strong statement. He says, you want to know the most important thing? Emunah. He says here that each person must search himself to see whether his faith is complete, and he must constantly strengthen himself in faith. He makes a very strong statement here. Due to a lack of faith, terrible afflictions arise, against which medicines, prayers, and ancestral merits are ineffective. So he says here that if somebody is lacking emunah, afflictions can arise that medicine, prayer, ancestral merits cannot protect you from. Now he goes further. Let's unwrap it. Ki kol harifuot hem al yedei atzabim vehem gedelim rak al yedei emunah. גם עיקר כוח רפואה שיש בכל עשב ועשב הוא על פי הסדר שיש להסבים והזרים לפי המקום והזמן. The reason is that all medicines are based on herbs. So medicines come from herbs usually. These herbs grow only through faith. So this is what makes you growing an herb in your backyard. What's going to make it grow? Faith. Now he says here that furthermore, the creative power that each and every herb possesses depends on factors relating to place and time and the way that each herb and seeds react to these two factors. Now he goes further. היינו לקצם במקום ההוא שכשגדלים באותו המקום יש להם כוח לרפואות, ולא כשגדלים במקום אחר, וכן לקצם בזמן הראוי להם, כי יש עצב שכל כוחו הרפואות הוא כשקוצרים אותו על שלא הביא שליש ולא אחר כך, וכן יש עצב שכל כוחו לרפואות רק כשנגמר עד שנופל מעליו ולא קודם. More specifically, herbs must be cut from the proper location, since when they grow in one place, they have the power to heal. And when they grow in another place, they do not have the power to heal. So this could be the source why one person takes an herbal supplement and he says, wow, I feel amazing, I feel terrific. And the other person takes it and he says, I don't know what you're talking about. Right? People today, they're taking things like ashwagandha, rhodiola root, panax ginseng root, beetroot powder. And some people are reporting, you look on the reviews, some people are reporting, it doesn't do nothing for me. The other people are reporting, wow, this changed my life. I feel amazing, I have energy, I have no anxiety.
Now, could it be from the same plant or same root, and one guy is cured and one isn't, or it's different plants or different root?
It's a good question. He seems here what he's saying. Let's go further. He's going to answer your question. So he says, similarly, they must be cut at the correct time. So you can have an herb that's cut in March, and this herb is supposed to be cut in April. But, the company you're buying it from doesn't know this. This is hidden esoteric knowledge. Since some herbs can heal only when they are cut before they have reached a third of their mature growth. So sometimes, let's say the herb is going to grow 6 feet, it has to be cut before it's 2 feet. But they're not going to do it that way because a lot of people don't have this knowledge. And if you're maximizing your profits, you're going to let the herb grow fully. And not afterwards. Where other herbs can heal only when they have attained their fullest growth and they fall on their own, but not before that time. So he's saying other herbs have to fully grow and fall on their own, and then they can heal. Faith maintains the natural order of the plant kingdom for harvesting plants in their correct place and time, so that it will have the power to heal. But due to the collapse of faith, these very same herbs are harvested for medicine, but in the wrong place and time. And consequently, they have no curative powers. It says here, Gam ikar hatgalut zechut avot l'zchut l'rfot b'zchutam hu gam ken rak al yedei emunah. Gam ikar ma shemeolet hatfilah lefo b'kashato hu gam ken rak al yedei emunah. Gam al yedei nefilat ha'emunah en mo'il lahalcholeh kol se'aka shelach ugnichot shelifamim mirachamim alav min Hashem al yedei zeh ve'al zeh nefilat ha'emunah gam zeh en mo'il. Says faith is also the main factor involving in revealing ancestral merits by which a person may be healed, and the efficacy of prayers to accomplish what a person seeks is also solely dependent on faith. Moreover, through the collapse of faith, it does not help a sick person to cry out, ach, or to groan, which sometimes succeed in arousing heaven's mercy. Due to the collapse of faith, this too is of no avail. So Rabbi Nachman here is saying black and white. If you want me to just put this into practical words, he's saying that without faith, nothing's going to help you. You could pray, you can say, my father was a tzaddik. If you don't have faith, you're not going to go anywhere. And you want to say, okay, you know what? I have an illness, I'll take an herb. He's saying that's not even going to help. You see some people, they tried every medicine and they're still stuck, they're still ill. Rabbi Nachman diagnoses here, he says, because of a lack of emunah. So now we understand the power of faith, and we understand, the power of the dangerous part of not having faith. How there's no hope if you don't have faith. So now he's going to give you the solution. Rabbi Nachman always diagnoses the problem, but then he's going to always come up with a solution. We're not going to leave you to dry. We're going to serve you the meatballs, and we're going to serve you dessert. So he says here, Adam nofel me'emunah ve'en mo'il afilu kol se'aka belo dibur az sarich liz'ok me'omek haleb b'bichinat me'akim keraticha Hashem ממקרא דליבה, ועל ידי זה נתגלים עצות עמוקות שיודעים לתת אצל לנפשם כל אחד ואחד מה שצריך, ועל ידי זה גדלה האמונה ונתקנת, ועל ידי זה חוזרים ונתקנין כל הדברים הנ"ל שהם רפואה וזכות אבות תפילה וכו'. When a person falls from faith, so falls from faith practically, you're dealing with a problem in life, you're dealing with a struggle, and you have a hard time seeing that it's for the best. Even a wordless cry does not help. He tells you need to cry out from the very depth of your heart. As in, from the depth, I cried out to you, Hashem. That's written in Tehillim 130. Shir lama'alot mima'akim. That is, from the depth of the heart, through this outcry, profound advice is thereby revealed, by which each person knows what he needs to do. In turn, faith grows and is rectified, and healing ancestral merits and prayers, prayers are all rectified as well. So he says that when a person loses his emunah, the solution is to go alone with Hashem and to cry out from the depth of your heart. Not to say...
I'm going to a video like this one.
Okay.
No, I'm not.
Guys, mute the Zoom, please. Thank you. Okay. So now he says here that when a person cries out with faith from the depth of his heart, Hashem's going to give him the answer. But you have to show Hashem, you have to show urgency. You can't say, God, help me. You have to go somewhere alone and cry out from the depth of your heart if you're struggling with something. And that in turn, when you show Hashem a true desire to get closer, that in turn will reveal faith, and you're going to come to have the solutions. So now, that's the beginning of the class, Likutei Moharan, where we're going to go a little off the book, and we're going to tell you a fun fact. In California, there's a tree, it's called the sequoia tree. The sequoia tree grows 300 feet tall. So researchers can't imagine. Most trees go 10 feet, maybe 20 feet. 300 feet tall, the sequoia tree grows. So now they're researching, why does the sequoia tree grow so high? Because if you look at the DNA of the sequoia tree, they're all planted together and the roots all attached to each other. So when roots are attached, there's something called synergy. Practically, Maurice, you could lift 500 pounds. Rowie, you can lift, I'll give you 400. So you would think together you could lift 900 pounds, right?
Yeah.
Right, Rowie, you're good at math. 500 plus 400 is? 900. Science shows you guys can lift together 1,400 pounds. Why? Because Rowie sees Maurice is trying, and Maurice sees Rowie trying. Together, you can lift more. So the same here with the sequoia tree. Together, the roots are synergizing and they're strengthening each other. So when Jews unite, we're strong. Now we're going to go further on the topic of uniting, because today, us Jews, we have to stick together. We see what's going on all around us. The comments and the anti-Semitism, and we have to see the power of the unity of the Jewish people. So it says here in we're classic Perkei Avot, tremendous lessons in the Sefer. Hu haya omer, he used to say, Al tihi baz lechol adam ve'al tihi maflig lechol dabar she'en lecha adam she'en lo sha'a ve'en lecha dabar she'en lo makom. He used to say, do not be scornful of any person and do not be disdainful of anything, for you have no person without his hour and you have no thing without its place. So practically, sometimes you see a guy, this guy, he's you could be disdainful of him, you could look down on him because he's a labcha, or he's not worthy. This guy is. They like to call it in Yiddish a shlemazel. He's a good for nothing. So you can look at him and be like push him aside. Yeah. And then the same thing with a thing. Sometimes, classic story, I heard this from Rabbi Malka. You have a little screw, right? You take the screw, get out of here. What's this screw doing here? Later, you're trying to put together. Later, your car breaks. You need that screw to fix your car, and your car can't move without that screw. So this goes to show that everything has its time and place, and it's never good to look down on someone, look down on something. This guy, he's a good for nothing. Oh, this piece, this rubber band, I don't need it. I remember one time I had a game called Kerplunk when I was younger, and it comes with a little rubber band. So they give me a rubber band, I threw it out. I couldn't put it together without the rubber band. So now I heard this story actually also from Rabbi Malka on this piece of Perkei Avot. He says here that beautiful story. So there was a boy, and his name was Shmuley. This kid was a rowdy kid, couldn't sit still in class. Teacher says sit down, he stands up. He's real eating in class, running around, going in and out. And thank God he had a good Rebbe, and the Rebbe used to tell him, nah, you're the best. You have a lot of energy, you're going to be successful, you're going to be good. Everything you do is going to work, don't worry. And the Rebbe used to encourage him. Now, welcome. So now, the Rebbe had to go off. He had to take a month off of teaching, and they got a substitute teacher who wasn't, really qualified to teach.
No.
And the substitute teacher wasn't like the regular rabbi. The substitute teacher used to say, you're good for nothing. You're only good with your hands. You don't use your brain. You don't think before you speak. You disrupt class. You're good for nothing. And it was very harmful to the boy. The boy didn't. It really took a hurt on his self-esteem. He didn't know. The rabbi's putting him down. He's bashing him. He didn't feel good. His regular rabbi came back. The substitute teacher went away, and the boy, it stayed with him. The pain of the whole thing. It stayed with him. Okay, he went through life. He moved on, and like most people with a lot of energy, a lot of them join Hatzalah. Why? Hatzalah, you have your walkie-talkie, you're running all over the place, you're helping people. So it's a great job for somebody who can't sit still. So, bless you. So now this boy ended up joining Hatzalah.
I can see where it's going, this story.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see. So now the boy joins Hatzalah, and one day there's a call in Israel, and the guy was pronounced dead. All the members are like, forget it. We tried to resuscitate him 5 minutes, 10 minutes. This guy's gone. Finally, this guy says, no, he's not done. He does CPR on him. He's praying. He keeps going. Everyone, what are you doing? You're wasting your time. Finally, gets a heartbeat. Wow, everyone's amazed. They make a party. He saved this man's life. They make a party. And at the party, everybody's thanking him. Wow, what a hero. And this boy looks at the person he saved, and he's like, I can't. He looks familiar. Where's he from? All of a sudden, it rings a bell. Were you substitute teacher in the Yeshiva Katana 20 years ago? He says, as a matter of fact, I was. He says, your name is Miss... Yes, that was my name. Yes, I was your student. And you told me that I'm good for nothing, and all I could do is use my hands. He said, because I use my hands and not my head, you're alive. if I was like everybody else, I would have used my brain. I would have said, it's over with, he's done. But because I used my hands and not my brain, your life was saved. The rabbi turned red. He said, I'm so sorry. I was wrong. You were right. And he gets up and he thanks the boy publicly. And he says, there's a lesson that I want to teach to everybody. That never ever put anyone or anything down, because you don't know when you're going to need it. The kid who couldn't sit still, the worst kid in the class, saved my life. Wow. So it's a lesson for us to internalize. We right here, we're working on it. Sometimes we see things and we put it down, right? We see the rain, it's raining today. Okay, of course we like sunny weather, but we see the rain and we say, what's up? It's raining. We hate the rain. But in the olden days, Masechet Ta'anit, we're learning, the rabbis would sit and fast for 3 days because it wasn't raining. They needed their plants to grow. So you see here that the power of everything, never to speak bad about people or things, to always be conscious of that, because there's going to be a day where you need that thing. There's going to be a day when you need that person. Okay, now once we're on the topic of Pirkei Avot, let's go a little further inside Pirkei Avot. Let's understand here. It says here, Rabbi Nachman ben Hakana Omer, Kol HaMekabel Alav Ol Torah Ma'abirim Mimenu Ol Mahut Ve'ol Derech Eretz. V'chol HaPorek Mimenu Ol Torah Notim Alav Ol Mahut Ve'ol Derech Eretz. Rabbi Nachman ben Hakana says, if someone takes upon himself the yoke of Torah, the yoke of government and the yoke of worldly responsibilities are removed from him. But if someone throws off the yoke of Torah from himself, the yoke of government and the yoke of worldly responsibilities are placed upon him. So practically...
That's a good one.
Huge. This is huge. This one is... Forget it. Practically, you see how sometimes, I was learning Torah with someone. I said, there's so many rules. There's so many laws. Like, look at this, don't look at this. Eat this, don't eat this. Breathe here. He said, yeah, it's not easy to be a Jew. But this is going to show you that if a person goes and takes on the yoke of Torah, it's a yoke. I got to think before I speak. I gotta pray 3 times a day. I got to learn Torah, right? You guys could all be right now watching Netflix. Instead, you come out on a cold winter night, to learn Torah. So that's a yoke that you're taking on struggle, you're taking on responsibility, right? We all know that Shabbat costs money, holidays cost money. There's a yoke to be Jewish. Jewish tuition costs money. But somebody who goes and takes upon the yoke of Torah, the yoke of government and worldly responsibilities are removed from him. There's a famous thing that said that every day someone has to pay something called struggle tax, right? You got to struggle every day. So if you wake up in the morning and struggle to go get out of bed and go pray and struggle to go learn Torah, then Hashem will go and he'll make your school easier. Maurice, he'll make your business easier. He'll make things flow smoother. But if someone says, I don't want to learn Torah, I don't want to, it's easier to just live my life. Then the yoke of making a living is going to be harder for you. The yoke of government problems are going to be harder for you. Other azabs, as they call it, other struggles are going to come to you because you didn't take on the yoke of the Torah.
And then you see it over here. The more you work, sometimes you don't get ahead, but they give you more work.
Correct.
So you're going to Torah, you're enjoying it, you're learning Torah, Jewish people, but work is giving more work. You're not moving up anywhere.
Correct. That's a great point you're making. There's a famous quote that says, if hard work alone led to success, the donkey would own the farm. So sometimes you see, I heard of a story of a guy, he decided, I'm going to learn Torah 2 extra hours in the morning. So usually he goes to work 9 to 6. Now he says, I'm going to work 11 to 6. Okay. He pulls out his phone 11 o'clock. 14 texts. We have this problem, we need help. Oh, don't worry, I solved it. We have this problem, we need help. Don't worry, I solved it. Now that project he was working on where he thought he would have to communicate back and forth, it was solved easily. So now God says, if you want to be a donkey, don't take the yoke of Torah, don't keep Shabbat, work 7 days a week, but then your life's going to be harder. But when somebody goes and takes the offensive to take on the yoke of Torah, I'm not going to speak bad about that person. This, I can go to McDonald's and get cheap food. No, I'm going to go, I'm only Glock kosher. It's 3 times the price. But when someone does that and goes above and beyond, then Hashem makes his life easier. That's a very, I saw this lesson. Wow. Yeah. Something we'll have to remember, because sometimes when you're doing these things, it's easy for it to feel heavy. It's easy for it to feel like it's extra. But realize we don't see everything. A lot of times also when we give charity, we think we're taking out of our pocket and we're giving away money. But really, if you knew that money isn't your money, that money comes from Hashem. That money Hashem could take that money away for a flat tire. There's a million different things Hashem could cost you that money. Instead, you're giving charity. Now you get the merit of giving charity, and that money doesn't come out of your bank account. Questions, thoughts? Anybody?
I like the donkey quote.
If hard work alone.
Yeah.
So it's a very powerful one, that one. It's something that I see with a lot of people that I see that are successful. Of course you have to go to work and you have to try, but there's some people, a wise person told me who was very successful, he said, you'd rather be lucky than smart. And what he means by that is, when you have God on your side, you're going to be successful in what you do. And then you see another guy, he's the smartest guy in the world, and he started a business and all he's doing is failing. He's a smart guy, he's A+. Doesn't mean you're going to be successful. You're successful when you're with Hashem and when you're being guided by Hashem. That's when you truly have success. So then here, I was reading in this book, shout out to Steve Zuckerman. He gave me this book. We miss you, Steve, this week. And this is Rabbi Nachman, Sichot Haran. He says here, the evil urge is like a prankster running through a crowd showing his tightly closed hand. No one knows what he's holding. He goes up to each one and asks, what do you suppose I have in my hand? So imagine, Maurice, you're in the outlets, Jersey Shore Premium Outlets, and some guy comes and says, everybody guess what I have in my hand. You want to know what's in his hand. Is it a golden coin? So he says, this is the Yetzer Hara. He runs around with something in his hand. Each one imagine that the closed hand contains just what he desires most. So this closed hand, that's my livelihood. This closed hand, that's someone looking for a wife, that's my wife. Oh, that's my blessing. They all hurry and run after the prankster. Then when he has tricked them all into following him, he opens his hand and it is completely empty. So people, they chase the desires of this world. They chase ta'avot. They chase immorality. They chase things. And then what are they left with? They're left feeling empty. Nobody feels good after they sin. Sometimes we feel if I get angry, I'm going to get what I want. And after you get angry, what do we have? Guilt, shame. We feel bad that we got angry. Sometimes a person thinks, I'm going to go have a night on the town. I'm going to go out. I'm going to drink. I'm going to have a good time. What does he wake up with? The hangover. So that's the Yetzer Hara. He tries to get you with he's the prankster. Instant gratification. Come, grab it. Eat that brownie cake. You're going to feel good. You eat it. I feel like you're in a sugar coma. That's the Yetzer Hara. The same here is true of the evil one. He fools the world, tricking them into following him. All men think that his hand contains what they desire. But in the end, he opens his hands, and there's nothing in it, and no desire is ever fulfilled. Worldly pleasures are like sunbeams in a dark room. They may actually seem solid, but one who tries to grasp a sunbeam finds nothing in his hand. The same is true of all worldly desires. So, Rabbi Nachman spells a few here, black and white. If you're going to chase after your worldly desires, you're going to end up with the bag. You're going to end up seeing that it was empty at the end. And they say, Esav with Yaakov. Esav told Yaakov, you tricked me twice. He tells Yaakov. He says that's not just Esav. That's every single Rasha at the end of his life. He screams out, you fooled me twice. Not only am I not going to have eternity, not only am I not going to have the world to come, but also this world that I thought I would enjoy so much pleasure, it led to nothing. Right? You see the guys who are chasing after pleasure, chasing after things. At the end of the day, what are they left with? Nothing. But the person who works hard on his midot, he prays, he learns Torah, he builds a family, he looks to give to everybody around him. At the beginning, it looks hard, right? Look at this guy, he's getting up 6 o'clock in the morning. He's going, he's speaking nice to everybody. It's easier to get angry. It's easier to be impatient. It's easier to get up at 9 o'clock. Who doesn't want to get up at 9 o'clock? Easier than getting up at 6 o'clock. When you look at this guy, he has children, grandchildren, he has people around him that love him and want to be around him and respect him. But you see a guy that chases his tavot, chases his desires, usually he's just left with regret. He's left with usually a broken marriage and a broken life. So that's the Yetzer Hara. And the key is not to take the bait. A story here to illustrate this concept is there was a football announcer in the 1980s. His name was John Madden. Anybody hear of John Madden here?
Steve Madden's
Yeah.
dad.
He was a big coach.
John Madden.
Blonde hair, the big guy.
Yeah.
CLA.
And
I'm
the
not sure what he
Raiders-
was. He
Raiders
was
also.
big announcer. And a small company by the name of EA Sports approached him and said, we have this kind of idea that we want to do. We want to put together video games were coming out back then. We want to put together, a football video game.
We played that.
And we want to use your name as the cover. We want to use you. Like, when you're starting a brand, you want to use a celebrity to be the brand. So he says, okay, let's talk about it. He sits down with them. They structure the deal. And they offer him two options. They say, Mr. Madden, either we can give you $100,000, one-time fee, take the money and run. Or our little company named EA Sports, you can have stocks in it. We'll pay you in stocks. Madden thinks about it. I'm working, I want money. I want the guarantee of money. He took the money, he got $100,000. Maybe he bought himself a nice Bentley, maybe a nice Mercedes, and he walked away. Today, John Madden shares would be worth $20 billion into EA Sports. That's the Yetzer Hara. He gets us to take the instant gratification. Go ahead, get angry. Go ahead, get upset, get frustrated. Go ahead, take the desire that you shouldn't take. And in the moment, it feels, wow, I'm getting $100,000. I'm going to feel great. But in the end, God shows you this is what you could have been. This is what could have happened if you held back. You could have had so much more blessings, so much more beautiful things in your life. So now, it's a very, very important concept to internalize. I heard a story on the concept of getting angry, because everybody has a temptation to get frustrated, angry. We're all people that are works in progress. We're all working on ourselves. So Rabbi Nachman writes in one of his teachings that before Hashem wants to send someone tremendous blessing in business, tremendous parnasah, he tempts the person to get angry, because anger and money come from the same place. So there's a story from somebody I know where he said that his wife wanted to make a Mexican Shabbat. So she wanted him to go to the grocery store and buy tacos and salsa. So, like a good husband, he says, I'll take care of whatever you need, sweetie. He goes to the grocery store to buy tacos and all Mexican food. He says, I don't know what tacos she wants, but I'm not texting her, I'm not calling her, I'm just going to buy her every taco in the store. So he buys her tortillas, he buys her black bean tacos, he buys her Mexican tacos.
Sure it's not our family you're talking
He
about?
buys her chorizos, he buys her tortillas. Comes home, 20 tacos. Here, sweetie, I did what you want. She looks through the bags. She says, you got me the wrong tacos. You ruined my Shabbat. So now, like any good man would want to do, what's wrong with her? I went out of my way. I got her tacos. And now this is what she tells me. I ruined your Shabbat because I bought you 20 tacos and that wasn't the right one. He's ready to unleash his wrath at her. Takes a deep breath. He remembers the teaching. And he says, this is a test. Smiles. Says, I did my best, sweetheart. Walks away. Goes into Shabbat. Passes. He forgets about it. Saturday night, he gets a call. He had a property listed for above market price. And he wasn't willing to sell it for cheaper. His relative said, we got to offer Friday. The deal was closed. He said, what time did you get the offer? He said, at 3:05, we got the offer. What time did he hold back from getting angry? 3:02. So you see, the money was coming down. It was coming down. Yetzer Hara wanted him to get angry, to lose the blessing, to lose Hashem's light, to lose the influx of bounty. Thank you, Maurice. And he overcame the test and he was blessed. So, B'ezrat Hashem, we should all merit to see the big picture in life, to always see beyond the instant moment, to always look to unite with each other, to be together, in this time that's in Israel. We're in historic times right now. What's going on in the world, we're living it so we don't realize it, but what's going on in the world, there's prophecies now that this is the end of days. This is where everything's coming together. So let's all be on Hashem's good side. Let's all do the right thing and let's all do our best to not go after the fist with nothing in it, but to go after the true eternity. Thank you.
What are the things that if you spend money on, it doesn't count for your yearly income?
Good question. So they say that Shabbat doesn't count. Any money you spend on Shabbat doesn't count.
Oh.
Any money you give to charity doesn't count.
Sfarim?
Things like that. So
Is it books?
I'm not sure Sefarim. Where's it written? Where's the source? I know there's a source like that. I'm trying to remember.
I don't know.
They say certain things you
What
spend
about
on.
holiday expenses?
Holiday they
That too?
include. Yep, they say holiday expenses. And certain things you spend on, the example my rabbi always gives is, he says,
Dates.
Dates?
depends on the intention there, I would say. Rabbi says certain things, a lot of times you go to the butcher and you buy meat and it says soaked and salted. So somebody tells the butcher, I'm going away to Australia, I want you to vacuum pack me some brisket. 10 pounds, $20 a pound, $200. He comes back, he gets 9 pounds. I don't believe you scanned me. He says, you want 10 pounds? Here's 10 pounds. He takes it to Australia and the meat spoils. He goes back to the butcher, he screams at him. He says, no, your 9 pounds was really 10 pounds, but I salted it and I vacuum packed it, so it shrunk the meat. But if you have 9, you have 9 pounds, but the 10 will turn into nothing, it will spoil. This is the same thing with charity. When you give 10% of your money away, you think that you're losing, right? You think you're giving away 10%, but that's preserving the rest of your money. That's making sure that money that you have is protected. There's people who have money and they lose it. They go into bad deals. They make mistakes. Well, a lot of times it's because their money's not protected from not giving the proper charity.
Wow.
Zaku Baruch, thank you everybody. We like to keep it tight and before 8:30 and just nice chizuk. Thank you all for coming.
Thank you.
Like, well,
Very healthy.
Yeah, go ahead.